See, I'm in the habit of watching YouTube videos. This is pretty much what I do when I, want to walk. Sometimes I'm just, doing some research. I want to leave some YouTube videos on the background to play because it kind of helps me. If you are a reseller, you would have noticed that reselling could be a little bit, very lonely, especially when you are doing it alone. Some people are lucky, they have this, this luxury of having to do it with their wives, some with their kids, some with their friends. But at the end of the day, it's a luxury because most times, if you set out to be a reseller, you are pretty much going to be alone. Nobody's going to understand what you are doing. And you quickly find out that if you are not trying to, look for a group somewhere, it could be on TikTok, it could be on Instagram, you are pretty much going to be alone. And the more you look for these groups, the more you keep watching YouTube videos or some TikTok shorts, even Instagram shorts, Facebook reels, stuff like that. See, you are going to quickly notice something. And the thing is, you're going to be noticing that every year or every now and again, you're going to be getting videos, telling you that people are leaving eBay. All right. You're going to be getting these videos. And sometimes these videos, you get them, they kind of raise this very, bogus alarm that people are leaving eBay, reselling is kind of dead. Cannot make money anymore, being a reseller. I'm telling you, I have been seeing these videos, over and over and again. Sometimes the beginning of the year, I tend to see it because the beginning of the year is a time where people, want to just, decide on something new. You are there, you are thinking of a better way to live your life or a better way to raise some money, just some kind of side income. And you are thinking to yourself, I think I want to begin to resell things. I want to begin to, look for a way I can go out there, buy some stuff because I feel like this is something that works. And then you want to do a little bit of research. You go onto YouTube to try to see what people are saying about it, how you can even start. Boom, and you are suggested a video that tells you, see, people are leaving eBay. eBay is dead. It's not something that you want to do in 2026. Go do something else. Look for a better business model. There's a lot of saturation. eBay takes a lot of money from you. I'm telling you, the list of reasons why people want to, tell you not to even go for it is just endless. Some people even say that, look, eBay doesn't even allow you sell the kind of items that you would love to sell to make profit. eBay has a lot of, Vero programs. You cannot do this, you cannot sell that. People just kind of sell you this lie that things don't work on the platform anymore. Some people even tell you that even if you go to the thrift stores, you'll not be able to find any inventories. Of course, there's a whole, discussion to that. But what I'm saying is, you're going to be bombarded with these videos, and to cap it all, you're going to be getting videos that tells you that, look, I'm quitting eBay, just quitting reselling altogether because it doesn't work, it's not meeting my needs, I can't make money from it, and the list goes on and on and on. I was just watching, YouTube just this morning, and even though I tend to look at these videos, I do not even click on them, but I still keep getting recommendations of this video because it is sometimes what it is, the kind of bogus stories, lies, they tend to sell pretty fast. Of course, pockets of people might be quitting here and there. Let's say, this month, a particular reseller quit for so many reasons that could stem from family reasons, financial problems and stuff like that. Everybody's going to use the buzzword that, look, I'm quitting eBay. eBay is not working. But this morning, I woke up and I felt like I should actually, talk about this. Perhaps there's somebody out there, given that we are in a new year, you are thinking right now of what you can actually do, to change your financial situation around. And you are constantly thinking that you want to try reselling, or even you might already be a reseller and, because of the way reselling is, things are not working for you just right now. And you are actively thinking of quitting, because you feel like you put in a lot of work, you are not seeing the results that you would love to see. And this is kind of bothering you, putting you under this kind of feeling that perhaps maybe a good thing to just quit because it's a new year, you want to start something else. Guys, I'm going to tell you what happened to me when I started reselling a long time ago. You see, I also started reselling by watching YouTube videos, Of course, I did see a lot of videos, trying to discourage me from actually, going out, taking action to actually make sure that this thing works. There were a lot of discouraging videos, but somewhere along the line, I also watched videos that said, you know what, if you want to really succeed in life, you have to be seen doing something. You have to be seen taking action, because there's just no other way that you can actually succeed without taking action. See, sometimes you do not have to trust, the judgment of people, because everybody had different circumstances. People might have tried reselling, they failed because of so many reasons. They were located in a place where there are no inventories. They didn't have the motivations that you have. That would have been the reason why they failed. But when you listen to them, you'll be thinking that the fact that they failed will pretty much mean that you are also going to fail. That's not true, because what I did do was that even though there was this, discussion out there already back in the days, I'm telling you, every year is just the same. People say you're not making sales on eBay, nothing is working. I still took action and I failed. Starting out, I failed. There were so many things I did wrong. There were so many times I actually did feel like just giving up, because this is the character, of the game called reselling. And not just reselling, any kind of business activity that you are planning, to get involved in. See, I didn't understand this at the time. I didn't understand that even though people were telling me that, yeah, you learn by failing, I couldn't really wrap my head around this concept at the time. I was like, how is it that you learn by failing? Because sometimes when you fail, my guy, it could be very, very devastating. You could lose money. You could lose a lot of time. You could lose a lot of your investment, emotional investment, effort and stuff like that. You could easily lose that. And how is it that when you lose those things, technically, you ought to be sad. But how is it that you learn from those process? But then after failing over and over and again, I started noticing that each time I failed, I took a look at everything that went wrong. Somehow, I tend to avoid it next time. If I had failed by buying a wrong inventory, whenever I was going to buy new stuff, I was going to avoid that thing. If I had failed, perhaps I listed an item that wasn't selling because I actually did a very bad job by not investing time and effort in making sure that the item was well photographed and well described. If that was the reason for my failure, the next thing I did when I got a new item was to really spend time. Sometimes I take like an hour or even two setting up just one offer. See, because you also live in a time where people are going to tell you to just keep pumping out, listings. Some people tell you that, look, there was a time on this YouTube street, it was like a thing not to flex with, people telling you, I am listing 100 items a day, 200 items a day. It was a trend back then. I'm talking about 2-3 years ago. I don't see this trend anymore. People talking about listing, because people have come to realize that it's not just about you listing, burning yourself out, listing 300 items a day and trying to go out to source for another 300 to replace the 300 items that you have listed. Reselling is pretty much more than that. It takes a lot of effort to do that. People have realized that, you listing quality items, sometimes spending, time, 1 hour, 30 minutes, depending on the kind of items you list, is a much better game to play than you trying to play this quantity game where you have to be listing all day long. So gradually, from all these failures, I was beginning to realize that each time I made a mistake here, the next time I was faced with that circumstance, there was just an unconscious, way I avoided everything I did previously that went wrong. And the more I started correcting myself, doing these things right that I did wrong, gradually I was just beginning to get things right. All this would not have been possible if I didn't take, the first action, which is to start out even when everybody is saying, no, do not go there. It's not a good game to play. Reselling is dead. It's not what you can even think of doing right now. I'm telling you, of course, you're not going to start out today and already be thinking you want to make reselling your full-time gig. Of course, there is a way to start reselling that you can actually, get off the ground running. But I want to advise you, there is also a benefit of you starting small, taking little steps, learning everything that you need to learn as you take those little steps, making those mistakes that will ultimately teach you a lot of things. The fear of failure could also be what holds a lot of people back. Nobody wants to, fail. And because of this, you are already thinking, I want to reach out to a guru, somebody in your opinion you think knows it all, has figured out everything, because you want to cut out this learning curve. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to make mistake. Of course, there's a time to reach out to people, but I'm telling you, there is also a benefit of you starting your business small, making all the mistakes that you can possibly make, and you figuring things out on your own. Reselling is pretty much alive. 2026, I can tell you that if you still put up a good offer on eBay, even on whatnot, any other platform that you think you want to put up with, if you put up items there, you are going to be able to sell those items. There's a learning curve to it. I'm not going to discount that. There is a time where you have to actually sit down, put in the work, learn how to photograph items, learn the items that sell, learn how to even present your items so that whenever somebody comes to your shop, they will have no choice but to buy from you. There's a way to do that. And all this happens the earlier you begin to take these steps to, try out stuff, make sure that you are doing something every day. It's a new year. And if you realize today is already the 10th of January 2026, the more you begin to, procrastinate, you don't want to take action, you are tied in this loop of just watching YouTube videos, especially the one that tells you that eBay is dead in 2026, you are not going to do anything and the time is still going to run by. Before you know it, it's going to be the 15th. And before you even know what's happening, you're going to see that January is gone and it's February and you're still not taking action. You are still consuming the videos that is not even bringing you any good. You want to go out there today and take action. This is just the message I feel I should put up to you today. If you are there, you are thinking of, taking steps in being a reseller, go for it. There is still money to be made on the platform. If you want to go ahead and do eBay, I want to advise you, do less of, listening to the videos that tells you this thing is not working, reselling is dead, there's no money to be made, videos that tend to bring out the negatives of reselling. People are going to scam you. You're going to lose expensive items. Take action today, just like I took action many years ago. Yes, take action. And yes, just to prepare you, you might put up stuff and it will not sell. But the beautiful thing is that you are going to be learning from that action that you took. You going out to buy something, you bringing the item home, you even testing it only to realize that the item is defective. That is if you decide to sell electronics. But if you decide to sell clothing, it's the same thing. You go out there, you receive some stock of nice shirts or nice women's shirts, and then you want to bring it out. You are trying to sort through them, realize that a lot of them have got holes. Yes, it's part of the things that you have to learn. And next time, it's just going to make you a better person to always check through the inventory that you're receiving before you actually pay for them. That's in the event that this is actually possible, because you could also have a situation where you receive these things in very, very large quantities and you are not actually able to sort through them one after the other. In this case, if you receive these items and you realize that some of them have got holes, they are not sellable, it's okay for you to take those items, just donate them and move on and learn from that process. You doing that over and over and again, you will be setting up yourself to be successful as a reseller. Reselling also has, ups and downs. There are times where things are selling and selling really good, and there are seasons of the year where things are pretty much quiet, just like every business model that you have out there. So do not be scared if you are thinking of taking action. Of course, this also applies to you if you are at the point right now thinking of quitting reselling because it's not working for you. Keep pushing. You might never tell. You could just be as close as you can possibly be to that which you seek, which is if you are going to use reselling as a means of livelihood, you want to replace your full-time job with reselling, or you want to make reselling even a major part of your income, you might just be very close to it without you not even knowing it. I felt like putting this out today. It's a beautiful day today. I felt like what other better time than to come on here, give somebody that encouragement that he or she needs to start the day or even to start the week. And if that person is you, please do me a favor. Go to the comment section, drop me a comment. I'll be glad to reply to it. Also, consider liking the video, consider sharing it, and above all, consider subscribing to the channel. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.